As an early DM, it's easy to let your party ask for all sorts of magic items, regardless of rarity. You, as a new DM, don't want to let them down. If you're like me, you might make the mistake of giving low-level individuals a wand of fireballs or a cloak of invisibility, which are way OP for early gameplay. So do yourself a favor and familiarize yourself with the common magic items of the D&D world. I'm John, a forever DM and adventure writer at dumbestdnd.com, and we've got what we believe to be the top 10 common magic items in D&D in no particular order. But if you'd like us to dive deep into the other 84 common items across official modules, let me know in the comments below. As mentioned, these are in no particular order because they are all helpful in different situations, but they are the 10 we think are the most useful and high-powered items for early game play. We'll start off with one for the outlaws and those who wish to not be tracked, the Boots of False Tracks. From Xanathar's Guide to Everything, these boots leave traces of other types of humanoids of the same size. Wanted posters where they're looking for 4 elves or maybe 4 gnomes? Throw them off the trail by making your feet look like turtle feet or any number of other humanoid creatures, which by my count is at least 50, but could be low. Best part, you can use this item as much as you want. Traveling, don those boots and cover up. If you're super strong, you could also carry your party over a particularly trackable area and really confuse folks. Next up is a backbreaker in Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and that is Breathing Bubble from Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. It's essentially an old-timey diving helmet, but made of a translucent bubble-like sphere that's slightly tacky. Why is it sticky? I don't know, but I'm sure there's good reason. The bubble contains 1 hour of breathable air and regains all expended air daily. No more penalties from breathing underwater as long as you're not dilly-dallying, and doing so this early in the game is pretty great. Breathing Bubble is essentially a timed version of Cap of Water Breathing or the Cloak of Manta Ray. Third on our list is the Charlatan's Die. Especially early in a campaign, you're probably going to be spending some time in taverns, and what better way to pass the time than by gambling? You'll need to find a table that lets you roll your own dice, but the Charlatan's Die is 6-sided and lets you control which number it rolls. Just don't go too heavy on rolling perfect every time to avoid suspicion. From Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Charlatan's Die is a common item perfect for the degenerate gambler in your party. And yes, that may mean that you get into more tavern fights than you expect. Keeping with Xanathar's Guide to Everything, fourth on our list is the most mysterious key of all time, the common mystery key. With its question mark head, the key has a 5% chance of unlocking any lock into which it is inserted. Doing some quick math, 5% means you can roll a d20, and while there is no explicit call out that it must be a 20 that is rolled, you could assume as much. Maybe you as the DM are feeling gracious and make it a 10. However you slice it, Mystery Key is an item that could accidentally get the party into a location at a low level that they have absolutely no business being in, giving Mystery Key one of the highest possible rewards in common magic items. Sadly, the key does disappear once it successfully unlocks something, but hey, it's worth the risk. Big fan over here of magic items that replace spells, and that's exactly what this 5th item does. From Eberron Rising from the Last War comes the Everbright Lantern, a bullseye lantern that contains an Eberron dragon shard that sheds light comparable to that produced by a Continual Flame spell. Continual Flame is a 2nd level spell with a 50 GP gold cost that lasts until dispelled. This lantern gives you that power in a 120-foot cone. Especially beneficial for the dungeon divers or deep cave explorers that don't have dark vision. Based on its comparison to Continual Flame, we'll also assume that it lasts until you cover it or dispel it. Compared to a standard bullseye lantern, the Everbright Lantern is leaps and bounds better. A standard lantern needs a pint of oil for every 6 hours to keep shining bright. Now, how exactly you procure an Eberron Dragon Shard in a non-Eberron world, well, it's up to you. The 6th common magic item is one of my favorites, purely for the joy, magic, and chaos of it. And that's right, it is the Hat of Vermin from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. 3 charges that recharge at dawn. This is a hat that allows you to take an action and summon a bat, frog, or a rat in the hat itself. Based on the bat and rat rhyming, My thinking is that there should also be cats that you can summon, but that's up to your DM. The caveat with the Hat of Vermin is that the magically appearing creature will try to get away from you as quickly as possible. You have no immediate control of the creature, it just exists and spazzes out like an ordinary creature. Don't worry about overpopulating the town with rats though, because the creature zaps out of existence after 1 hour, or when it's down to 0 HP. We've written several encounters that revolve around restaurants, and this is a great grift if you are infiltrating a restaurant as a health inspector and want to cite the chefs. Also, who doesn't want the magical ability to just summon a bat at a low level? Just make sure you yell, "Bat!" like Laszlo from What We Do in the Shadows. There are several common magic items that can be used as a spellcasting focus, but Imbued Wood focus feels the most powerful at a low level. From Eberron Rising from the Last War, Imbued Wood focus gives you a +1 to damage rolls of the same damage type as your wood. Ferny and Ash is associated with fire, for instance, so your Firebolt will get a +1. Mabar and Ebony will increase necrotic damage for all you little necromancers out there. Damage boosts in an early game are fantastic, so getting this rod, staff, or wand from a specific tree could be very beneficial. I also bet your DM has no idea what any of these trees are, so you could probably find them in any forest if you ask nicely. You must attune to the item, but that's to be expected when it's tightly tied to spellcasting. Speaking of spellcasting, this 8th item requires no attunement, but lets you cast a first level spell once a day. The Masque Charm is a small silver pin that, when worn, gives you the ability to cast Disguise Self for 1 or 6 hours. Reminder that Disguise Self is an illusion spell, allowing you to make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends or until you use your action to dismiss it. However, it does not hold up to physical inspection, and creatures can use investigation against a DC 13 spell save to see through the disguise. A benefit of the Masque Charm, other than the spellcasting ability, is that you can upcast to 6 hours, though doing so will make the charm non-magical afterward. Essentially, 6 hours means you squeeze all the juice out of the pin. A similar common magic item is Masquerade Tattoo from Tasha's Cauldron, but that requires attunement. Added bonus, that 1 hour charge comes back at sunset. Enjoy your disguising shenanigans. Up next is the only potion on this list, and it's not the one you expect. If you are thinking Potion of Healing, well, you'd be wrong. Sure, it gets you some health back, but if you've got a cleric in your group, you're going to be okay regardless. Instead, it's Potion of Watchful Rest from Waterdeep, Dungeon of the Mad Mage. The elves are going to roll their eyes here, but if you don't have one in the party, this potion is going to be clutch, and it has a bonus benefit. When you drink the potion, for 8 hours you can stay awake during a long rest and still gain its benefits, plus you can't be magically put to sleep. Double buff for you, and doubly useful if you're going up against dust mephits, night hags, or jackal wares. Enjoy your caffeine pills, stay awake, and stay alert. Last on our list is the only tattoo that we added, and it's the Spellwrought Tattoo from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. In that book, there are over 10 tattoos you can get, but for common magic items, Spellwrought Tattoo is the best. It's technically got different rarities, but we're keeping it anyway, especially because it doesn't require attunement. You'll need to determine with your DM if non-magical creatures can cast spells with this tattoo, but I'd allow it as the rules don't specify against non-spellcasters from getting the tattoo itself. The gist is a special needle containing a single spell, either a cantrip or first level spell at the common rarity, can turn into ink that becomes that tattoo. You then need no magical components to cast the spell, and it glows when you cast the spell itself. The spell garners a save DC of 13 and an attack bonus of +5. Really, the only downside is that the spell is single use. Once cast, the tattoo vanishes. Think of Scar in Full Metal Alchemist and his Grand Arcanum array tattoos, but after any transmutation, his tattoo would disappear. Again, this is any cantrip or first level spell, so pretty cool overall. It's a great ability for low-level players, especially those that are non-spellcasters. Please, though, don't pick up random needles you find laying on the ground. So there you have it, our top 10 common magic items in D&D 5e. I'm sure we left out your favorites, so let us know in the comments which go into your top 10. If you enjoyed this video, let me know, and we'll make sure to make another in the future. Till next time, roll high, stay ridiculous, and thanks for watching.